could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello, everyone. Today we're meeting Stewart McClain. He is a speaker and an author. Hello, Stewart. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, I'm glad to be here, and I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let's start a conversation with diving into your story of becoming the person you are today. So what led you to discover your true passion in life? How did it start for you?
What led me to really start my true passion in life, and especially becoming a speaker and an author, was when I was younger, I just was like into all kind of different little things, and growing up, and my parents was trying to teach me the right thing, the right way to go, and different things like that. But then as I got older, I began to meet a mentor, and I met a couple of mentors, and they were able to give me some guidance. My dad, he gave me some guidance, but sometimes you just need some little extra guidance from other people. So they gave me some guidance and began to tell me about life and different things about life. And I was like, oh man, I was like, okay, I understand, what's really going on. The other way I was going the wrong way is not good. So let's go the right way, right? So I just kind of tapped into my abilities of beginning to be a speaker. They had a couple like seminars and a couple of things that they were a part of, and I just started kind of getting into it.
Wow. Yeah, like you mentioned, being someone who have a mentor, it's very important because we, even with experience that we have, we still need somebody to show us the way that, if that person already been through this and they have an understanding what you're going through, they can show you this kind of shortcut how to get where you're going without spending all that time and sacrificing your own, I guess, energy and efforts, but doing it more efficiently.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts of being mentored? And if you are a mentor to somebody else, maybe right now, what do you think is the benefits of having a mentor?
Yeah, the benefit of having a mentor, like you said, you're able to not just go, you're able to be detoured. It's easier for you to get to your destination. Let's say if somebody writes a book, right? It took them 20 years to be able to achieve their goals. But you read the book and it only take you 2 years. Why? Because you got their wisdom. And also you missed all the bumps in the road because you read and you got information that you needed to keep you from going that route. So that's how it is. Even me, as I mentor people, helping them to be able to write their books, because I have one book out called How to Self-Publish Your Book, and I have a course also. So helping people to be able to learn the skills on how to be able to put their books together. So I have a couple of people that I mentor. I mentor people on my I have a nonprofit organization too called All Hoods Unite. So I mentor, some of my board members on there, helping them to be able to be the leaders that they should be in leading the community and things like that. So it was very exciting to me. I'm very excited to be able to pour back into people. You should always have someone pouring into you, and you should be pouring into somebody else.
Right. And what do you think is gonna give you that something to be able to pour into somebody else? So what would give you this type of, I would say, energy and being able to, kind of like know for yourself that you have enough to give? What would you suggest people to start looking into in terms of first kind of finding time for themselves and recharging themselves and having that mindset where they could give something to others. So what first step that should start with on a daily basis, if we're talking about habits, let's say, what do you think is important habits to look into in order to get yourself, to become that person who can mentor others?
I believe the first habit is to be able to begin to start to tap into self, step into. So one thing I do is to do meditation.
Yeah.
I believe in meditating,
Mm-hmm.
taking deep breaths, relaxing your mind, relaxing your body. You know, people think meditation is you have to meditate for 30 minutes, an hour, and things like that. No, you can meditate for 5 minutes. You wake up in the morning as you brush your teeth, you begin to calm your mind, calm your body. You know, you're getting ready for the day. Say you going out working out, or you have to go to a job, or whatever you have to do. You sit for a couple of minutes. You get there early. You sit for a couple of minutes and listen to something that's going to be able to calm your mind. Begin to say affirmations. Begin to speak to yourself. That's what I do to keep myself going and myself up. Speaking to yourself.
Right. So
Talking. If we can talk to others, but we can't talk to ourselves, something is wrong.
mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And it starts with ourselves to get to that connection of a deeper understanding of who we are and what our purpose is here. And usually is to serve others in some kind of way. But first you need to be able to give yourself that love, that care that you need before you're gonna give somebody else. Because like you said, if your cup is empty, there is nothing to give, right? So first we should start with having that type of practice that incorporate in a daily habits where we just do it kind of every day and start doing it maybe like even automatically, knowing that this is something that will give us that type of mindset that we're searching for. And again, it will take some time because some people think it's like an easy fix, and they're looking for something to get right away. And we know that it will take time, but again, it's your dedication. So
Yes,
how committed are you to give yourself that type of life where, you no longer, that type of person who is dependent on somebody, but you are the one who can lead, who can give to others.
yes, yes. And also, it's like you said, it takes time. It's just like tying your shoes. When you first begin to tie your shoes, you don't just tie your shoes perfectly. It takes you time. But then when you begin to tie your shoes, it becomes like second nature to you because you really learn the skill. And that's how it is when you begin to practice meditation or practice a discipline that's going to be able to help you to help others. Like you said, the big thing you said that I really love, that self-love. Because when you love you, you're able to spread love to others because you can't give what you don't have. So that's the one of the main ingredients is self-love and self-awareness. Because when you're aware of who you are and you know who you are and you know what's inside of you, then you can give abundantly because the world is full of abundance. Love is abundant.
Right. But some people, they don't feel it for some reason, especially like when they working all the time, they feel stressed, they feel anxious, or they just come home and they kind of like try to escape from this reality using different type of, it could be substances or what else, but again, we have to realize that we need to find that time to like de-stress, to relax, to put our mind at ease, and to have that space where we can cultivate that self-love. So it's not something that comes, it's you who supposed to be working on it,
Yeah,
consistently. And that's where you're going to see that come into fruition. But
yeah,
again, how important is that for you, that mental health? Because in my opinion, I think it starts mostly as in your mind, and as we prioritize our mental health, then it reflects into physical world. And
yeah.
that's how I think we should first recognize the way we feel and address that. Don't you think so?
I believe you should address it, because I remember a time in my life when I was sitting in the park and I was just kind of like, when you just have thoughts, you're thinking to yourself.
Yeah.
And I had a thought of, because I'm always a person who always like helping people, always like doing for others, and you can't, like you said, burn yourself out, because you're just giving yourself so much that you're not replenishing yourself. And I had like a vision, and it was crazy, of me without a life vest on and all these other people drowning. And I jump in and I try to save them, but I drown because I wasn't taking care of myself. you
Mhm.
know. And it was like, Stuart, you're trying to help all these people, but you're drowning. And
Yeah.
you need to get you mentally together so you can be able to have the strength enough to help them and
Mhm.
save from drowning, you know? And I was like, wow, that really woke me up, because I had an epiphany at
Mhm.
that particular time. And I didn't even realize, I was like, wow, I didn't even realize I was burning myself out. But I'm glad that I had that, because it woke me up and it got me back on my track, back on track. So,
Yeah, and there are events that happen in our lives where sometimes it could be painful, but that's the moments where we realize, we have to change the way we're doing things,
yeah,
because if not, again, we can bring ourselves to the point where we can be like really ill, like physically ill, and not doing anything, not being able to even function. Sometimes people burn themselves out to the point where even like when we're talking about mental health, if people are depressed, sometimes they're thinking about taking their own life.
yeah,
So that's very extreme cases. So in order to prevent that from happening, we need to know what is important, what we should focus on, what matters for you.
yeah,
And first of all, you have to look into yourself to get that connection, to deeper understanding of who you are and what you can do in this world. What are your abilities and skills? And again, your passion in life, right? Because we're not here to suffer, we're here to enjoy life and to share our gifts with others.
yes, that's so true. We are here to be able to enjoy life. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and it's also meant to be explored. Because think about it, we have all these cities, all these states, and all these things that were created for human beings for us to be able to explore. All
Mhm.
these different varieties of foods and all this great stuff that we can be able to explore and enjoy. When we take our minds off of us and our problems and our situations and begin to realize that other people got problems and situations too, and try to help them through their situations, at times your situation, you forget all about it. And then it works itself out.
True. Yeah, and we also need to know that there is a bigger purpose. It's not just about us, I think nowadays people are separated so much and they don't understand that we are pretty much have the same, source, I would say we came from, right? So we have something in common, and we have to find a way to connect with each other. And again, with you first knowing yourself, then you can better connect with other people as well. So, and then when you kind of have those type of meaningful relationship, that's where you see the impact that you can make, right? So it's not just you being by yourself, but eventually that's where you want to go, is to be able to grow the way that you surround yourself with the people who like to see you grow, who are cheerful and who are really like supportive. And that's important also to know who you hang out with, because it's not just interaction, but it also like exchange of energy, I would say. And it matters who are the people that you're listening to, and if you're really listening to them and taking their advice, and what kind of path are they on? Are they the ones that really encourage you and want to see you grow? Or, there are different types of people who are more like envious, or, they're more on the negative side. So you have to be able to recognize, and again, you're doing it for yourself first, but again, in the end, it's not just for you, but when you grow more, that's where you will see, you will be able to give more. And when we're talking about like impact, right? You can start with something small, some kind of acts of, kindness that you can start doing even right now, and it all comes back to you. So I believe that even with something small, like if you just invest time to talking to somebody or helping somebody in some kind of way, it will eventually come back to, maybe in a different way through different people. But I think all of us, we're supposed to interact with each other and be, each other teachers in a way. And maybe we just bring ourselves into the place where we'll learn from each other, right? And that's how we're supposed to interact. Every type of encounter or event, you should look at it as a lesson for you. What did you learn from it, right? And if you learn from it, how did you apply it to your life? What made you think about something, right? And how it helped you grow in the end. So, and yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that.
Yes, and that is so true, what you are saying, because your environment is a seed. And think about a human being, it's like you're the dirt. So you have to watch what goes inside of your soil, because it's going to grow eventually. Because if you're the dirt, your environment is the seed. You have to watch what goes inside of the dirt. When you begin to have boundaries, that's when you don't let anything inside of your dirt. Only thing that's going to be able to help you to grow properly. And like you were saying, it was so powerful. Excuse me. It was so powerful what you were saying about we're energy, right? We're spirit being. So I was looking at somebody, they said something amazing, and it really touched me. They said, I don't look at people as people anymore. I look at people as energy. I said, wow, that really touched me. I don't look people as people. I look at people as energy. So when you look people as energy, you're able to see the negativity in them. You're able to see, oh, this person is not good for me. Oh, this friend is not good for me. Oh, this relationship is not good for me. Why? Because I'm protecting the dirt. Protecting my energy, right? I'm protecting me because I have to develop and grow, but I want to grow under the right soil, under the right people, under the right environments that's going to be able to push me to flourish. Let's think about a fish, right? A fish outside of water will suffocate, but a fish inside of water will flourish. Why? Because it's in the right environment. And anytime we're in the right environment, we begin to flourish.
Oh, you're definitely right. And everything that contributes to that environment all factors should be considered. Like I mentioned, people that we talk to on a daily basis, also how we taking care of ourselves, what are we doing in terms of those practices that will bring us to the best mindset where we feel, safe, relaxed, and also creative and clear on what we want in our life and seeing ourselves achieving those goals, having plan in place where we know the steps that we need to take. And really being focused on what we want in our life. And again, it's all about enjoying that path that you're on. It's not really about the destination, right? Even though we're supposed to set goals, but if we're not enjoying in the moment as we go through our journey, what's the point?
Yes, that's true. And also it's good to be able to have a particular place that you want to get to, because one thing about a plane, when you begin to get on the plane and you say, I'm going to Hawaii or I'm going to, wherever you're going, it's a destination, but you may have to go through a little turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to your destination. You may have to go 30,000 feet in the air, but you're going to get to your destination. So it's good to be able to have a plan in action. Like you were saying, it's good to have a plan. Like me, one thing I do is I write things on the calendar. I'm really calendar driven. I put everything on the calendar, because if you don't plan your life will plan your life. Mm-hmm. So I believe in planning your life, because if you plan it and then you're going to stay focused, and then you're going to accomplish things that you look to accomplish, because you are planning your life. You're mastering your life. Mm-hmm. But if you don't plan it, it's going to master you.
Right. So like a lot of people just live by default. They don't know what they're doing, why they're doing things, right? And it's not a good place to be, because you really want to feel that you're in control, you're in charge, and that's your life, and you are the creator of your life, right? So when you know that, when you really take responsibility first, what you have right now around you, that's because you did it, right? And you don't like what you have that power to change it, because if you got to this point, you can change and get to another level where you're striving for. And again, like some people avoid that responsibility, and taking that responsibility is important, because that's where we know that if I'm the one brought myself to this point right now, I'm the one who's going to take myself out of this situation and change something about it.
Yes, that's true. And I think that at times people are so used to believing somebody else is going to pull them out of their situation that they don't think about pulling themselves out. Because at times we can all kind of get in that dependent mindset instead of independent mindset of, I have to make this happen. I have to be the change that I want. It all starts with me. Right. We say we want the world to change. If you're not changing, the world is not changing. It starts with an individual. It starts with a person that says, hey, I'm going to be a change agent. Then somebody else say, I'm going to be a change agent. I'm going to be a change. They're working on themselves, and they're developing. They're always willing to grow. One thing about me, I want to always grow. I go to seminars. I listen to seminars. I listen to things on TV, on YouTube, I listen to stuff because I need to grow. And I want to be the best version of myself I can be in this life. Why not? Mm-hmm. When you become better, people around you become better. When you become better, things around you become better, because you're bettering yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's like a ripple effect. It totally affects other people around you. So you're not just doing it for yourself. in the beginning maybe it looks like that, but then you see how you'll be able to impact others, and you will have so much to give. Again, coming back to thinking about where are you going, and in order to achieve that sustained level of energy, this high vibrational state of mindset, and where you know that you're the one creating your life, you're the one in charge, you are doing those daily habits consistently because you know how beneficial they are for your own growth, and you know where you're going, you focus on what you want in life. And with you just becoming that person is inevitable. You
Yeah,
will.
you will. You will. It's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly.
Yeah, that transformation is happening.
Yes, that metamorphosis, that becoming into something that was crawling, now that's able to fly. You know, that's a different experience. So it's able to experience something that it didn't even realize that it was going to be able to experience.
Yeah.
Because it went through that process. And that's a lot of times people don't want to go through the process. It's a process of becoming.
Yeah.
You just don't become overnight. It's a process. A tree doesn't just grow overnight. You know, apples don't just come on the tree overnight. It's a process. And we have to begin to face ourselves, look in the mirror, and go through our process. It's going to hurt sometimes. It's going to be ugly sometimes. It's going to be crazy sometimes. Sometimes you have to look at yourself and go through some dark places where you've been in your life and begin to look in the mirror and say, I'm going to overcome this, because you have to face it, because that's part of growth. It's facing everything that we have been through in our lives and beginning to say, I'm becoming better because I'm not that person. I'm not that person who I used to be. I'm not that person that whatever took place when you were young. I'm not that person. I'm who I am now, and I'm becoming better.
Right.
Because I'm facing everything that I have been through and I'm overcoming it.
Yeah, and that's important to really face all your fears, insecurities, any trauma that you might have in the past, and know that you're not defined by it.
Yeah.
You can overcome it, and it's possible. A lot of people went through the same thing as you did, because sometimes people feel like they're alone going through this type of, situations, but we all know what that feels like, and you should be able to ask for help. And it's not a weakness, it's actually courageous to ask somebody to help you if you need a person like a mentor or a coach, somebody who can help you to go through that change. But you should know that it will be uncomfortable. Every change is uncomfortable, and we are usually scared of something unknown, or we don't like feeling ourselves in situation where we are uncomfortable. That's why people usually telling themselves some type of excuses why they would not do certain things, because they feel comfortable in where they are. But if you are satisfied with what you have in your life, maybe you don't need to do it. But if somebody asking you, do you really feel happy and fulfilled? And the answer is no, you should be willing to feel uncomfortable, because that's what it will require you to feel once you start going through change.
That's true. You're right. And that's how it should be, change. And that's what, that's one thing about this generation that we live in. It's so popcorny.
Yeah.
Everybody wants stuff so fast. But everything takes time. Everything takes time. But everything, sometimes we see people's journey, but we don't see people's journey. We'll see the result of their journey, but we didn't see their whole process. It might have took them 5 years to get to where they're at. And we think it only took them a hot minute just because we just seen them pop up on the scene. But we didn't see the whole journey. And people didn't see it. They haven't seen our journey. So they'll judge a book by its cover, but they never read the pages. Mm-hmm. But when they read the pages of your life, they'll understand your journey.
Yeah. And everyone's journey is different, and we have to be also compassionate with others without judging. Like you said, when you just see that person, you see the result, but you don't know what they went through, and you don't know, maybe they still on the way of becoming of who they want to be. And we have to be mindful of that, because again, how we interact with others matters, and it comes back in a way, in a one or different way, but you have to be mindful of how you approach other people as well. And also know that you have your own unique journey to go through. And again, like knowing that it will take time, but with your dedication and your faith also, you have to believe that you will get there where you're going, but knowing that it will require certain steps from you. You just need to do your part, right? Yes. But there's something else that will be supportive in the process. You will see where you will feel that support through people you meet, or events that happen, or opportunities that just come your way. Yeah. And with you making that decision to become a better version of who you can be, right? That's where you will find that support. But if you're not going to make that decision, you're not going to grow.
Yes, that's true. You're not going to grow if you don't make that decision. And that's what life is all about, decisions. But making decisions that matter, making decisions that count. A lot of people can shoot a lot of baskets, but they want the baskets that count. They want to be able to make the shots that matter. And that's what life is about, making the shots that matter. You might miss a couple of shots, and that's okay, because a failure is not a person. Failure is an event a person goes through, because a person is never a failure. So they might miss shots, but you shouldn't try to miss shots intentionally. You should try to make shots because you want to make your life and things that you're doing in life matter. Right. So I believe it. I believe in making shots. I don't want to miss them. I don't want to keep missing.
Of course, but I think failure or attempts to succeed, that's what I usually call it. Those are just attempts, and eventually you will succeed. But without making those attempts and trying and really knowing what your focus is, your goal is, you would never be there.
That's true.
If you gonna do it consistently and not being discouraged, but not making that shot from the first time or first 100 times, right? It's okay. You have to understand that it is part of the process.
Yes, it is. It is part of the process. And one thing about life, I would rather be in the race than sitting on the sidelines. So, like you said, when you're in the race, even if you're missing shots, at least you're trying to make them. Because
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.